So one of my favorite films, it's a bit dated. It's Red 2 with Bruce Willis and Morgan Freeman. And when I think about that, so Red stood for Bruce Willis was a former spy, and he was labeled Red as retired but extremely dangerous. And so this notion of like the level of excellence that he brought to his work, the regard and the respect that he had, even though he was being set up and all these sort of crazy things were going down, which is sort of the premise of the movie. What struck me about it was what allowed him to navigate both life when he pre-retirement and life post-retirement was this emphasis around excellence and execution and how that showed up, the work that he did, how that showed up in his work life, obviously, but in his personal life as well. And then the journey of sort of surviving the attacks that were placed on him was alliances. So the importance of stakeholder relationships, right? It was his ability to recontract with a Russian guy who would have been his enemy, but still had high regard for him and suddenly became an ally to be able to break into, a government building. Or it was contract hits where he was hired to kill someone and someone was hired to kill him. And again, being able to adjust those relationships and that stakeholder management to renegotiate terms and how they work together. I think one of the things that as a leader, I think about a lot is, strategy. What are you getting done? What do you need to execute? Getting the work done, it was clear he was always someone who knew how to get it done. But the piece people often make a mistake with is getting work done through others. And so whether those others are up, down, and sideways, I think this was a great illustration of a guy who had a reputation, knew his stuff, could get things done, knew which relationships were the ones that he could turn into allies to deliver and execute. But then the fourth piece of this was there was a vulnerability to him. So in the middle of all of this was this love story. And even in the journey of his love story, he would talk about, I'm not this kind of guy. I'm not that kind of guy, but I can do this. So that self-awareness, those are the four key pieces we talk about constantly around leadership effectiveness. Do you know what you're trying to accomplish? Vision and strategy. Can you get the work done? Can you get it done through others? And do you know yourself? I think that's a movie that brings that all together.